This is the world news at 12 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent, and here are the top stories. Trump launches $1 million gold card immigration visas. Former Anambra Governor Chris Ngige arrested in Abuja. Military orders removal of unauthorized checkpoints nationwide, and Mohammed insists Lekki Massacre a hoax. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The world news at 12 begins on the foreign scene, where U.S. President Donald Trump has launched a scheme offering fast-tracked U.S. visas to wealthy foreigners who can pay at least $1 million. Trump said on social media that the card will give buyers a direct path to citizenship for all qualified and vetted people. The Trump Gold Card, which was first announced earlier this year, is a U.S. visa awarded to those who can demonstrate they will provide a substantial benefit to the country, according to the scheme's official website. This comes as Washington intensifies its immigration crackdown, including raising work visa fees and deporting undocumented migrants. The Gold Card scheme promises U.S. residency in record time and will require a $1 million fee, which is evidence that the individual will substantially benefit the United States, according to the program's website. Back home in Nigeria, troops of Operation Hadinkai have neutralized 2 terrorists in an ambush at Shetimari General Area of Konduga Local Government Area in Borno State. Sources told Zagazola Makama that the operation, carried out under Operation Desert Sanity V, was executed by an ambush team in the early hours of today. The source said the troops intercepted the fighters around their crossing point at about 1:20 a.m. He said the soldiers immediately engaged the terrorists, neutralizing 2 of them while others fled in different directions. According to sources, the troops later conducted an immediate exploitation of the area and recovered 2 RPG bombs and 1 magazine loaded with 23 rounds of 7.62 mm x 39 mm special ammunition. Meanwhile, troops of Operation Hadinkai have repelled an attempted attack by Boko Haram terrorists on the newly resettled community of Delwa in Konduga Local Government Area of Borno State. According to Zagazola Makama, the terrorists launched the attack late Tuesday night from 3 different directions and also attempted to ambush motorists along the Mulai Delwa Road. The source said soldiers of the 7th Division Garrison responded swiftly with superior firepower, forcing the insurgents to withdraw. According to the sources, 1 terrorist was neutralized during the encounter, while troops recovered a bandolier containing 2 36 mm hand grenades and 3 empty AK-47 magazines. In a recent development, a former governor of Anambra State and immediate past Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, has been taken into custody by the EFCC, Economics and Financial Crimes Commission. The development was confirmed by his former media aide, Mr. Fred Chukwelube, who dispelled earlier reports circulating on social media that the ex-minister had been kidnapped. In a brief statement, Chukwelube clarified that Ngige was not abducted but is currently with operatives of the EFCC. The clarification came amid a wave of reports alleging that unknown gunmen had whisked away the former minister. Ngige, who served as the Minister of Labour under the administration of former President Mohammed Buhari, was recently in the news following an armed attack on his convoy in Anambra State. Although he was not in the vehicle during the incident, the assault heightened public concern about his safety. Details regarding the reason for Ngige's arrest or the nature of the EFCC's investigation remains unclear. The Defense Headquarters has ordered the immediate dismantling of all non-essential static roadblocks and unauthorized checkpoints across major highways in the country, citing growing concerns over operational inefficiency and security risks. The directive, contained in a memo dated December 5 and signed by Brigadier General A. Rabiu on behalf of the Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, warned that the proliferation of unapproved checkpoints was disrupting movement and exposing personnel to avoidable dangers. It further noted that while security roadways remain crucial, the unchecked spread of fixed posts has begun to undermine operational efficiency and disrupt freedom of movement for both security forces and civilians. The communication added that troops manning these checkpoints were being placed at unnecessary risk, especially along high traffic corridors. Meanwhile, former Minister of Information and Culture, Mohammed, has insisted that no one died at the Lekki tollgate in Lagos during the 2020 EndSARS protests. Speaking during an interview on Wednesday, he insisted that claims of a massacre at the tollgate were fake news. It was reported that at least 12 protesters were killed during a shooting at the Lekki tollgate in October 2020. 5 years later, the government still insists that no one was killed. Reaffirming his stance, Mohammed says 5 years have passed and no one has reported that a relative went to the Lekki tollgate and never returned. You're currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a short break and return with the news analysis segment and, of course, more news. Stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. Still on the World News at 12, the United States House Appropriations Committee has reaffirmed America's commitment to addressing religious persecution globally with a focus on Nigeria. In a statement posted on its official X account on Wednesday, they noted that America will not look away as innocent lives are stolen. Directed by the President of the United States, appropriators led an on-the-ground mission to inform a report on Christian persecution in Nigeria and guide policy recommendations. Religious freedom and atrocity response are central to our NSRP bill. This is according to a statement on X. The statement followed a visit to Nigeria by a delegation of U.S. lawmakers led by Congressman Riley Moore under the direction of President Donald Trump. The delegation's mission, confirmed by Nigeria's National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, aimed to strengthen counter-terrorism cooperation, enhance regional stability, and reinforce the strategic security partnership between Nigeria and the United States. Well, now joining me for the news analysis segment on the World News at 12 this afternoon, I have legal luminary Barrister Asim Adams. Good afternoon to you, Barrister. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. Barrister, let's actually begin with the arrest of former Anambra State Governor Chris Ngige by the EFCC. There were initial reports that he was kidnapped, but then his former aide came out to let us know that he was not kidnapped, but instead he was arrested by the EFCC. But one would wonder the manner in which he was arrested by the EFCC could have fueled those rumors or reports of a kidnap. Now, when it comes to how EFCC operatives operate, some Nigerians are not very happy with how that goes on, especially when sometimes they can come, break down one's door, go into the room, drag the people out. Would you say this was the reason why some people thought he was being kidnapped at first? And also the EFCC is not telling us why they are arresting him. What could be the reason why they're having him custody?
See, the problem is, I know that EFCC, the way they have been going about, some of these arrests is unorthodox and medieval. EFCC should not act as a Gestapo police. The EFCC should not act as a kidnapping gang, because series of reports, both on social media has indicted the EFCC that when you want to invite people, you go to their houses and break down their doors. You just move in, you can accost the man on the street and you just use your bandit way to, accost and arrest the person. EFCC should know that it's economic crimes and not violent crimes. If you treat economic criminals the way you treat bandits, then what is the reason why you are not called a commission? The EFCC know that they are a commission, not a force. Like you have the police force. They are a commission. What does a commission mean? I have gone through the act setting up EFCC. There is no place that is stated in the act that they can break down doors, that they can waylay, as we use the word in Nigeria here, ambush people to arrest them because you want to ask them one or two questions in your place. EFCC is not the DSS. EFCC is not the Nigerian Army. EFCC is not the Nigerian Intelligence Agency. It's an economic commission. So whatever the crime, no matter the offense that Ngige must have committed, you cannot take him hostage. Under our constitution, it is stated that the moment you arrest a man, you must tell him his offense, and you give him all apparatus of reaching out to his lawyers, his family, it is as the case may be, and to let them know his whereabouts. You cannot take somebody hostage, and to the extent the man was not feeling that he has been kidnapped. I have seen a comedian whose video went viral on social media, showing us how EFCC invaded the premises of a supposedly Yahoo boy. But they got in there, they broke down the doors. They broke down everything as if they were going to war. But see, Nigeria is not a lawless country. Many of us think Nigeria is a lawless country. EFCC should be rebuked for this act of brigandage and braggadocio. It's so distasteful and not sweating. It's not sweating. The temerity with which they go about their business, that is not how it should be. Under the act, what they are supposed to do is to invite the person. You're supposed to send a letter of invitation, inviting the supposed offender or alleged offender to appear before your commission. It is only that way. And when he fails to come to your commission, you have to get a warrant from a court, not from your office. And that warrant is to say that you use reasonable force to restrain the person and bring him to your place. Reasonable force means not violence, not ambushing. I don't understand exactly why they should do that to a senior citizen like Ngige. It is wrong. President Tinubu should call his goons and call these people to order because they are going on a rampage. They are now operating as if they are bandits. Nigerians have been lobotomized psychologically and socially. On the streets, we are scared of armed robbers and assassins. Traveling home to your villages, you are scared of kidnappers and bandits. In your houses, you are not scared of EFCC coming to ambush and will let you use maximum force to injure you and capture you and keep in their gulag for economic offenses. That is wrong and is condemnable. I'm so very angry this morning when the news broke. I said, what manner of people are these? Is this not a democracy? Are we operating a darkina or a militocracy or oligarchic government? Are we operating, the Nestorian, a kind of regime? Is it emperors that are ruling Nigeria now? They say civil rule of law. But the angst and ways and means these security forces have wounded Nigerians, making all of us sick and frightened. That should not be so. When the people are scared of the government, anarchy is looming. But when the government is not scared of the people, anarchy is looming. The government should be scared of the people, not the other way around. But in Nigeria today, we are scared of government. Whereas the government should be scared of us that we can withdraw their mandates. It has become so lugubrious. How can people move around malevolently in the guise of uniform and commission that taxpayers' monies are used to fund it? It's a sorry sight. I'm disappointed. I won't say the least.
Barrister Asim Adams, you remember that about a week or two ago, his convoy was attacked, and one would ask, do you think this is actually linked to that case? He said his convoy was attacked. He was not in the convoy at that time, but one of the policemen attached to the convoy was shot in the leg. They took his weapon, they took his police uniform, and they accused him of working for a zoo government. And one would wonder, all of this attack, is it linked to this current arrest by the EFCC, or what exactly could be the reason? We saw that the EFCC is currently actually grilling former AGF Malami. So what is Ngige's offense, and why is the EFCC not letting us know? You talked about how he's a senior citizen. He's someone that if he gets to the police case, he can always be released on bail on self-recognizance. So why not they recognize him, the fact that he's been a former minister of the Federal Republic, to actually let Nigerians know what is really going on, instead of going through it, in this kind of like a corner way?
You see, the point is this. I think President Tinubu has bared his fangs. Tinubu has bared his fangs.
You think President Tinubu is responsible for whatever is happening to Ngige right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What would be the reason?
He's hunting down opposition. Either you be with us or you are against us. Either you are with us or you are the enemy of the state.
But we don't see Ngige actively politicking, in the past few months.
He has not politicked. But there's a reason why they are looking for him, because they feel it's a figure. They feel figures like Ngige should be working with them. So when he has kept quiet, they don't know his next move. So that is why you see they are going after him. Not just him, they are going after one or two other opposition leaders like that, or people that are moot. Otherwise, a senior citizen like Ngige, who not quite a month or thereabout, had a brush, with whether it's bandit or kidnappers, I don't know whoever did that. You are using the same method again to go and kidnap. The psychological trauma he may have gone through. Assuming Nigeria was a country where we are allowed to carry arms, are you sure that the security agencies with the would have exchanged firearms with EFCC today or weekday that happened? And at the end of the day, you now say, we are from EFCC. Is that not wickedness of the highest order? Is that not haunting of a perceived political opponent? So what kind of thing is this? The question I'm asking, why should Nigerian citizens be made to suffer this way? These are questions that need answers. It is sad. At this point in time, you give people opportunity because nobody wants to know exactly the crime he has committed right now. But we are against the way and manner you have gone after him. Why would you want to do that? To embarrass him or whatever? Nigerian Constitution says a man is presumed innocent until proven, otherwise. So why do it like a common criminal? These are things, the question we're asking. The way they are treating, why can't they go after bandits like that? Come on. I think we are missing everything. The president is missing everything. He wants people to be scared of his government, but he doesn't want to be scared of the Nigerian people. 2027 is around the corner. I want to say that Nigeria is like Mount Vesuvius. in Italy. It's a mute and dormant volcano. But whenever it erupts, cataclysmic results occasions. It shouldn't take Nigerians for a ride. Many Nigerians are walking on spindle legs right now and walking with time bombs in their hearts and their souls. The time it will explode, I do not know how they can repel it. It is becoming something that is difficult for me to understand why a civilian, dispensation should begin to occasion this kind of, harassment and intimidation. It's so sad.
All right. Let's actually move on from that particular issue and talk about former Minister for Information and Culture under the late former President Muhammad Buhari, who has come out, that's Lai Mohammed, who has come out to insist and to reiterate his stance that the Lekki Massacre was a hoax, that it was fake news, and that nobody was killed. And in fact, nothing happened at the Lekki as far as is concerned. He says no one has come out to report their family member missing 5 years after. But if you remember, Barrister Asim Adams, there was talk of paying compensation of millions of naira to the victims that were affected by that shooting. So where is Lai Mohammed getting his own reports from? And who is lying to Nigerians? Or is it Nigerians that are lying to themselves? Because if you recall, there was a live streaming of that event and there were obviously bloodied flags right there at the Lekki toll gate.
You see, the Buhari government was a despotic, regime. It was not a civilian administration. And for those who were defending that particular government, like Lai Mohammed, I once described him as the chemical Ali of Iraq. When the debauchery, the miasma, mishandling of the Iraqi people was in the offing, Chemical Ali came out. He was the spokesperson for that particular regime. He was a general in the Iraqi army. He defended every action Saddam Hussein did. The same thing Lai Mohammed is doing. Defending every action of late General Muhammad Buhari. That tells you that these people, they are worse than, the Hitler, regime as at that time. Because I remember Joseph Goebbels also was the spokesperson for the Hitler government, the Nazi, regime of Hitler. He was always defending Hitler, said that Jews were not massacred, Jews were not exterminated, just the way Lai Mohammed is talking about, that nobody lost their lives in that, EndSARS protests. You see, today, the dark side of history is where Joseph Goebbels is. The dark side of history is where Chemical Ali of Iraq is. And the dark side of history, I dare say, is where Lai Mohammed will belong. Because the victims of that bloodshed and killings, the families are still grieving in anguish and angst. And you coming out to say nobody lost their lives, like you rightly said, where lives and whereas there was compensation. Compensating who for what? If there was no loss of life. Is Lai Mohammed's postulations and assumptions and summation and conclusions, are they not running diametrically opposed to the forensic, whatever they set up panel, the Lagos panel, especially, that recommended compensation for a number of people? I dare say that I participated in that particular panel that was still in Lagos. I knew exactly the documents that are available, and I challenged Lai Mohammed to go and counter the resolution and recommendations of that EndSARS panel in Lagos. When I speak like this, I'm close to tears because I find it difficult to believe that years after, instead of Nigeria to show recompense, I set up a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The former Minister of Information is coming to say nobody died. I weep for the families of the victims. I weep for those who lost their lives during that EndSARS. We still have the visuals. We still saw each time I drive past there, that Lekki toll gate, the memories of that EndSARS flood my mind, my conscience, and everything about me. Then somebody is telling me that nothing happened. Oh, Nigeria is telling what that this guy knocked the metis. And I believe that for those who have hidden the truth under the carpet, history will hide them under their graves. That is just all I have to say to them.
So you're saying that Mohammed is lying to Nigerians, even when the administration itself is no longer in power. The question would be, to what purpose?
People like him, I described Joseph Goebbels, who was the spokesperson for Hitler, the Nazi regime of Hitler. Chemical Ali also was the spokesperson for the Iraqi. If you compare these two regimes to that of Buhari, they have the same attributes and characteristics. So a spokesperson for that administration will always live, in that kind of particular, state of nothing happens. Before Goebbels died, when you ask him about the atrocities of Hitler, he will say Hitler was a very nice man. That Hitler was the nicest revolutionary they had. That Hitler was the nicest nationalist Germans ever had. So these are people. So they is defending a government where the head is gone to the beyond, but it's still defending. That tells you the kind of mind these people have. These guys are men with deaded conscience. I feel so sorry for Nigeria, honestly speaking.
All right. While we're talking about this issue, let's just make a little pivot to issues of security in the country. There has been a directive, military orders actually, to remove unauthorized checkpoints nationwide, saying that it is actually placing unnecessary risks that to the troops that are manning this checkpoint, and that indeed they could be deployed to further fight against terrorism in the country. Is this a directive that you support?
I don't know whether to support that directive or not, because this directive has been given even before my first son was born, who is close to 30 years now. I remember that these IGs, the various IGs say checkpoints have been dismantled. They give various reasons why checkpoints have been dismantled and will be dismantled. So it's not new to me. So whether you dismantle them or not, it's not going to add to the verb in tackling insecurity in Nigeria today. So that is just, the policies they make to deceive themselves, not the public, not those of us who are discerning. I have a discerning spirit of mind. So when I hear things like that, I will never take them seriously. I take them with a pinch of salt. I believe that these are just what I refer to as sanctimonious platitudes. Sanctimony in the sense that they wake up in the morning and say, what is going to serenade, the citizens, so that they think that we are working. They just drop one particular policy. They know it's not going to work. They have programmed that policy to fail. So if they remove checkpoints, from the roads, as the case may be, do you stop patrol vehicles from moving around? Because checkpoints became commercial areas and banks, where if you need 500,000 naira cash, you can run them as they to borrow you. They'll lend you 500,000 naira. Police officers or army officers manning checkpoints, they are the most liquid in cash Nigerians I've ever met. So I don't know exactly what they're talking about, whether to dismantle or not to dismantle what? The checkpoints, were they not points of robberies? The checkpoints, were they not, arms of executive robbery and gangsterism? Many have lost their lives in checkpoints. Many properties have been stolen. My own friend, Sylvester Azabawu is late. For those who are listening to me today, was it not murdered by policemen on checkpoints along Bini Agbo Road? That was about 10 years ago. Is it not palpable? So when you say things like this, you even make me get angrier. And I don't want to be in that mood this morning. So they should let us be. They should just let Nigerians be and rule. But 2027 is around the corner. We know where to wait for them. That is the only thing we can say.
There is a recent update or a recent report on the federal government pushing for 17.89 trillion naira new loans to finance the 2026 budget. So there are plans to borrow 17.89 trillion naira in 2026 to fund a widening budget deficit as revenue projections have fallen sharply below expenditure needs. That's according to the 2026 budget framework obtained from the Budget Office of the Federation.
You see, as I was growing up, my parents told me, in one of the lessons I learned in life today, said, he who goes a borrowing, goes a sorrowing. I don't know whether that particular saying has become obsolete or has become anachronistic. I do not know. But I still believe that it's time valid, that he who goes a borrowing will go a sorrowing. The Nigerian government has been going a borrowing, and certainly the government will go a sorrowing because they can never pay the debts. Generations yet unborn can never pay the debts. That is number one. Number two, some motivational speakers and economists, professors, they've told me, say, okay, if you want to start business, go and source for loan. Now, when you source for loan, make sure you use the loan to do what they call productive venture. That if you use the loan of maybe ₦1 million, you put it and turn over, you pay your loan as a when due, you can stabilize and pay off your debt, then you now get stability in your business. The Nigerian government keep borrowing money. What are they doing with it? What are they doing with the money they have been borrowing? That is the question we have been asking. What are you doing with it? America borrow money to build. They borrow money for infrastructure. They borrow money to do it. These are visible, projects that they do. The question we are asking, the money is flowing to trillions of naira they have borrowed in so close 6 months. What are they doing with it? There is no electricity supply. There is no water supply. Unemployment is on the highest. Insecurity everywhere. Now hunger and starvation are ravaging the land. Social welfare is nowhere to be found. Roads are in comatose level. Educational sector is dead. The health sector is dead. It's kaput. So what are they doing with the monies they are borrowing? The only thing that comes to mind, what they do with the monies that they borrow, in my own opinion, is that they embezzle the money. They borrow to embezzle. Otherwise, I do not know why the president's son should be moving in a convoy that is worth about 2 billion naira worth of vehicles. You are not talking about the manpower following him. The protection. You're not talking about the hotels he sleep whenever he's in any part of the country. You're not talking about the kind of clothes they wear. The father has about 3 escalates. The convoy of the Nigerian president is about 4.something trillion naira. In cars, the beasts that they use, the escalade, it's in millions of dollars. Convert that to naira. Then you tell me, so where are they getting the money from? It's like me borrowing money to throw parties. After the party, what happens? So it's been a cycle of borrowing in Nigeria. Buhari borrowed his own and embezzled. Tinubu is now borrowing his own and embezzling. That is just what they are doing. What have they done? Today, the average Nigerian man cannot pay rent. A 2-bedroom apartment anywhere in Nigeria today is about 5 million naira. So, and you are telling me that a man whose salary is about 100,000, 500,000 for instance, is a big man, he didn't be saved for 10 years. Can he get 5 million to pay for a 2-bedroom apartment? There are no houses for people to live. Mortgages should be there. If you borrow to build houses and give out of mortgages, then I will understand you. So what are they borrowing this money for? Tomorrow you will hear that the president has changed the presidential jet. You have increased the salary of the National Assembly members. So what exactly are they doing with the money? So the money they borrow, in my opinion, is demonic. And you see, we are just watching while these people dwell in malfeasance, corruptly enriching the money from themselves with monies borrowed from nations. The fourth one is this: the nations you are borrowing from, what happened? How did they come about that they became self-sufficient and you are now borrowing from them? China does not have natural resources just like Nigeria has. Nigeria is a basin of natural resources. Nigeria ought to be one of the richest countries in the world. But today we run to China, we run to Japan. Why we borrow money from England? Why we borrow money from Germany? Whereas our natural resources, if we're harnessed, can feed the whole of Africa. Is that not a problem? Is that not a thought-provoking whatever? How come now China is not coming to take from us? We're always going there to take. It's a retrogressive nation and a nation that is driving speedily through abyss. And Tinubu is the driver of that vehicle taking Nigeria to the abyss. I dare say that. And I believe that they better stop all these things they are doing. Because if you cannot rejig your economy and you feel you want to depend on borrowing, you go and sorrowing. That is just the complete, maybe my conclusion on that particular issue of borrowing as case may be.
Thank you so much, Barrister Asim Adams, for your perspective on the issues on the World News at 12 this afternoon.
Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. You have been listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that Trump has launched a $1 million gold card immigration visa. Former Anambra Governor Christian Ngige arrested in Abuja. Military orders removal of unauthorized checkpoints nationwide. And Mohammed insists Lekki Massacre a hoax. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good afternoon to you and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. Matters will come up by 1:30 p.m.
Please note, the views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the individual contributors and do not necessarily represent the official views of the